Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, its valuations against the US dollar. Looking at the recent move for today, Bitcoin is down about 7%, a little over 7%, 7.5% actually. For today, we're now trading at about $54,000, 54.5, back at the prices that we were back in October 13th, 12th, this area right here. Um, I saw a lot of people. You can't make this stuff up. Just looking yesterday at the sentiment. Bitcoin was. I mean, Bitcoin was only up 3%, but the altcoin market was doing very well. You can see on my right here, basic attention token was up about the 20-30%. Yeah, 20% yesterday. Um, a lot of assets were doing quite well. And people are joking that it's probably due to everyone in the States talking about cryptocurrencies during the Thanksgiving dinner table, right? And lo and behold, the next day, Black Friday sale happens for the crypto market. You can't make this stuff up. I think it's hilarious. For some people, I can understand this is a little bit more serious. Pete, there's real money on the table. If you bought at higher valuations, you're kind of underwater right now, and it doesn't feel good. But I think this is a good example of, not necessarily trying to buy um, at tops, buying at valuations where the RSI might indicate that it's a little overbought. If we look at the daily, you could see that when we did hit $69,000, we were at 76 on the RSI. Now, naturally, we can't go even higher than that. But regardless, I think it's good practice to kind of try to buy at lower valuations. A good rule of thumb, in my books at least, is trying to locate for the 20-week moving average, wherever possible. So times like in September of 2020 is when I bought a significant amount of Bitcoin. Same as in this area as well in June of 2020. Also, when it's below the 20-week moving average, I increased my positions on my futures contracts on Bitcoin here. Now, naturally, if you're just looking for the 20-week moving average, there are going to be instances where you simply just don't get an opportunity, right? Like this stretch right here is a great example of that. And you would have missed out. So I think a compromise needs to be made. Dollar cost averaging is a great way for people who are just trying to get some exposure into Bitcoin. And that doesn't really indicate on price. You can just have a set number of dollars per month, per week, per day that you put into Bitcoin. And you can then have these other rules as well. If Bitcoin's at the 20-week moving average, well, your set buy is going to be a little bit more, for example. If it's below the 20-week moving average, well, you can increase that a little bit more, so on and so forth. You can definitely mix and match and kind of get a strategy that you're most comfortable with. But buying, just lump sums at $60,000 in this example I don't think is necessarily the greatest idea ever. I'm confident that Bitcoin will bail you out. And I think that's the point of this video. People are worried, people are scared. And I think, in my view, I don't think the cycle is quite over yet. We've talked about this at length, of the monthly RSI making two peaks every time. We have yet to make the second peak, and I think there are other metrics out there that suggest that the cycle is just not yet over, and because of that, I'm pretty confident that Bitcoin will bail everyone out. Should they have bought at $60,000, or any altcoin. Altcoins are a little bit more questionable because it depends on the altcoin you buy. But I think eventually, throughout this cycle, if you're not going to buy anymore, like say you don't buy any more cryptocurrency from here on out, your cost basis will be fine as is what it is now, and you will get bailed out by the price of Bitcoin and by the market, to some degree. Uh, but regardless, let's take a look at the chart. Bitcoin is down 7%. Bitcoin dominance is up 0.15 percentage points for today. and we're trending down to the 20-week moving average. Right now, the 20-week moving average is at $50,661. And if we were to measure it from where we are to the 20-week moving average, we're looking at about an additional 7% down at some point into the future from where we are right now in order to get to the 20-week moving average. Now, if it's going to be next week, then the 20-week moving average is increasing, right? If we just take this is not going to really happen because it is going to level out at some point. But if we just take a line and make a straight line through the trend, we would actually run into the 20-week moving average by the week of December 13th, which is not that far away. I'm like, this is the last week of November. Next week is December, and the week after that is going to be December 13th. So, with that said, it seems quite likely that the 20-week moving average is going to make another point of contact, and this will be a very interesting time. When that happens, you have a couple of options, right? You can buy, which is what I'm going to consider doing, increasing my futures contracts on my Bitcoin futures contracts, betting that it will bounce because I feel like there's the data suggests and that the metrics suggest that it should bounce. Um, you can not do anything, or you can sell your cryptocurrency if you want. Like those are your options. Um, if you think that this is the market cycle peak, then honestly, if you think this is the market cycle peak, you shouldn't be having to wait till the 20-week moving average in order to sell it. You should be selling it right now. You'd make the difference would be 7%, right? So that's kind of my view on the on Bitcoin right now. It seems very likely that we'll be hitting the 20-week moving average. Obviously, the 8-week moving average is um, has left us essentially. The 8-week moving average is at $60,000, and we're very far away from it. So there's that to take into consideration. The other thing that people would be worried about is the altcoin market. If Bitcoin is going to be trending down to the 20-week moving average, odds are altcoins are going to start to bleed as well with Bitcoin. And you can see that today. Ethereum's down 10%. Chainlink is down 10%. It has broken its 20-week moving average at the moment. Uniswap's down 9.17%. Basic attention tokens just flying through. So that's an anomaly, in my opinion. Um, I'll make a separate video on that. Celsius down 10%, Cardano down 7%. So you can see that things are getting a little testy, and I think it'll continue to be testy until we make some kind of bounce off the 20-week moving average. Um, when that happens, be prepared for it. It doesn't have to take a week, right? Like this bounce was pretty nice. It was pretty sudden, in the sense that the reaction was pretty quick, and we went to the upside very quickly after that. Keep in mind that it also could stay at the 20-week moving average for weeks. This test here from August 31st, week of August 31st to October 5th, was 6 weeks long, 2 months, or 1.5 months actually, of testing the 20-week moving average. So these are things to take into consideration. And yeah, I think ultimately this is going to be fine. I think people just need to calm down. But I can understand there's real money on the table for these people, and no one wants to see their portfolio go down. But what was that saying? If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. I would paint the same picture for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is extremely volatile. Cryptocurrency market is extremely volatile. You have to handle the swings, and have diamond hands, I guess, or extreme massive balls to some degree, to kind of hold these positions. And I think for people like me that have been here for quite some time, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, these kinds of swings aren't necessarily the worst. If if we're just looking at the past 2 weeks, right? Like if we're just looking at 2 weeks, it's about 15% down. We've experienced worse than that. Like in the past year, we've experienced 46% down, and for some people, we've experienced an 80% down on Bitcoin's price, right? So with that said, it's a Black Friday sale. It's just volatility, whatever you want to call it. Um, Look towards the next year into Q1 to see some kind of response from the market. It could be for the rest of December. We're fighting against the 20-week moving average, for example. But we shall see. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.